What is up, everyone? Circon here, bringing you guys Advent Calendar Day 4, boys. And what shall it be? It is it's the Senlec, the Tier 8 British light tank. You know, that super popular line that everybody has grinded because it's very good. Oh, no, it's not. It's very bad. British light tanks. What a meme. But how is the Senlec? All right, first off, let's just check the price. Again, bundle, very not worth it, right? Goes down to 42 instead of 60, but this price is inflated with coded optics, vert stabs, gold, premium account, all that stuff. You do also get camo with it though, but the camo you can usually buy separately at more than one occasion, so also not really worth it. So without it, it's going to be 6,500 gold from the garage, which is about 24 euros, which is on the cheap side for a tier 8 premium. Well, cheap. So 24 bucks roughly. So what do you get for that? So we all know, first off, that the British light tank line is completely and utterly useless. So using this or buying this to like get a crew or train up your British light tank crew, I don't see it really, to be honest. But the Senlec itself, I think, is actually the best British light tank because the other ones are so bad. Now, small cliff note here: I free marked tier 7 British light and it was awful. I play light tanks religiously, and it took me like 117 games or something, which is about 60 games over the usual norm. So I don't know. It's just ugh. But yeah, the Senlec I kind of like actually, and I do have a YouTube video as well, and I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys a link in the description. I'll give you guys a link at the end of the video as well. And it's this video where I go through it. It's a little review. It's a replay cast. So me just talking through everything. I highly recommend checking out this so you have an idea of how it works in the game. And this is like a full tier 8 game as well. Anyway, the Senlec. Also, another cliff note. The commander needs to be really, really good, guys. Okay? Well, preferably, because it's also the radio guide. There's only 3 crew in here. And obviously you want the radio man few range skill, you want the commander few range skill, you want browser arms and 6 ends. So that's already, what, 4 crew skills? Then you actually also want camo, and you kind of want repairs as well. So that commander skill is going to need to be high very quickly, or you already need to have a good commander to put in here from the tech tree light tanks, if any of you actually play them. But the rest of the stats are actually pretty good, okay? We have a little over 2k DPM on the tier 8 scout, which is nice. Ridiculously good aiming time and decent dispersion. Okay, decent dispersion. We have a high shell velocity of over 1000 on the AP. The APCR goes almost to 1300 with 223 pen, where the AP had 189 pen. And then it gets a really nice conversion rate. It gets 90 pen on the HE, and that increases the alpha going from 180 to 280. This is almost as good as the Russians. The Russians go from 180 to 300 because they're Russian, I guess. But still, 90 pen for 280. Your DPM shoots up to 3100 without any gear on it yet, right? So that's all good news. Very good news, in fact. And this is actually a playable tank, believe it or not. 65 kilometers an hour top speed. It reverses for 23, which is also pretty fast. And it has a really comfy 10 degrees gun depression. Has absolutely no armor and tier 8 scout health, so 1050. And it has a really nice base view range of 400. Now this is something that the tech tree light tanks cannot afford, I think, until the Manticore, and maybe even the Manticore doesn't have it. So 400 base view range, that is really, really nice, because that means that you're a little bit less reliant on your commander to be really sick in crew skills to get your full view range going, right? And it also means that if you have really good commander, your free range is going to be really, 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 really good for a tier 8. Now, there is a downside to all of this, and that is that you don't have any armor, and you're as big as a house. Now, this live view doesn't really sell it. This tank is ginormous. It is huge. So, you have no armor, and you're huge. And also the turret, as you'll see, is in the back. So while you do have 10 degrees of gun depression, even frontally, as you can see, it is always a little bit awkward to have your turret in the back. and you should know that it is on the back before you do anything. So that's a little bit awkward, but it does get like 10 degrees gun depression all around, which is very, very nice. And you don't have any armor and you're big. That's a huge negative, because we all know that the wheelie boys exist. You know, the wheeled scout tanks that have really good HE ammo and can shoot really well on the move. And guess what? If you're this big, you're gonna get shot by them over and over and over again really easily with HE that will pen you. Also, your the LT432 is still a thing that has a conversion rate of 300 alpha, like I stated earlier, and that will also chew you up. However, it is slightly below those tanks in terms of like light versus light tank, because this thing will wreck a lot of tech tree light tanks. Right? In a 1v1, you will wreck the German one, the Chinese one, you know, yada yada. You tend to just wreck them because of your HE conversion rates, right? You go up to boom, 3100 DPM, HE pens for 90, it's more than enough for most scouts, and yeah, do your thing. And I really like this kind of HE. I know there's a huge discussion, or a discussion at least, on the HE rebalance, and this is the kind of HE balance I like, where you get like pretty good alpha increase, right? You go 100 up, and you have 90 pen, which means you cannot just auto pen everything or do a large amount of damage with a non-pen. No, you have to actually play well, put yourself in a position where you can use this, and then it pays off. That is a lot of skill in using this HE. This is the kind of HE shell I really like to see. So I like this about it. It's like kind of technical, and I like it. So if you're gonna get it, how are you gonna, you know, what equipment are you gonna put on it? So this is what I would do. Or this is, I think, how I run it. Let me check if I run food. Yes, I did. So I run a large repair kit as well. Obviously, the food thing is completely optional here because we start with 400 base view range. So if you take that away, and with optics alone, with a good crew, you still have 471. If I take away the situational awareness, you're still at 458. If you take away the recon, you're still at 449. So only with optics and brothers and arms, you're already at above max view range. If I take away brothers and arms as well, you're at 440. It's still almost max. That's the benefit from having 400 base view range, right? But I'm 100% certain I played this with a pretty decent commander, because like I said, I had a crew before it, then I put them in the tier 7 British Light that I free marked, and then I played tier 8 as well. So my crew was really sick in this. But you definitely don't have to run food, especially if you're looking to buy this to make credits. Like, I doubt anybody will really buy this to buff their crews because they like playing the British Lights. I kind of doubt it. So not using Pudding Sea is completely fine. A larger bracket I kind of do recommend because of the amount of HE slinging going around, and you know, artillery will also wreck you, of course, because you have no armor. So a large bracket is very, very nice. And just make sure you buy these at half off, right? And then it's a standard coated optics, a gun rammer, and vert stabs. You absolutely don't need a gun lane drive. You could kind of argue switching the vert stabs actually for ventilation, because the gun handling is actually quite good with this super low aiming time. But I would still go with vert stabs for the most part. Same thing, like if you want to be more passive for some reason, you can also switch the gun rammer for ventilation, maybe. But again, yeah, really not really worth it. But maybe, you know, maybe. It's also as big as a house, so the camo is a lot less than you might expect because it is such a big scout tank. But yeah, do I recommend this tank? Well, I recommend the tank. I just don't recommend the tech tree it's in. So, like, I think this is a decent price to have a surprising amount of fun in a tank you don't see that often. I like if I'm just looking at the tank separately, yes, I would recommend it. But because you need a crew and you're buffing a crew, because you know you have to think about the crew training. Because you're doing that for a tech tree that I really don't agree with, I have kind of a hard time recommending it that way. So if you don't mind the fact that the tech tree tanks are complete garbage, and you have a light tank crew in the British that you might want to, you want to play some, or you actually want to play a good British light, then yes, I recommend it. But please do keep in mind that the tech tree tanks are awful and really, really, really not worth your time. So with that said, guys, that is the Senlec. Please check out the video I did here. It's from October, so it's only it's at the end of October, so it's like a month or two old, right? Go check this out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link at the end of the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys.